much to like about bread. From the chewy, spongy interior texture to the outer crust that gives that little crisp that you need. So what makes it that way? Well, the sponginess and the chewiness both come from the same thing, a protein called gluten. Gluten is a protein that is made out of two protein building blocks, glutenin and gliadin. Both glutenin and gliadin are found in flour, specifically wheat flour, but also wheat-adjacent flours, such as rye and barley. They are not found in rice flours or tapioca flours, because those flours are gluten-free. They don't have the protein building blocks to make gluten. So what takes glutenin and gliadin from just two proteins to a compound protein such as gluten? Well, the simple formula is water plus flour plus mixing makes gluten. So, you're making bread. Inside of your bowl, you put your flour, you put your water, and you start to mix. What happens then, inside of that dough, is the glutenin starts to form long curly strands, and the gliadin remains in its compact form and acts as a way for the glutenin to move back and forth over each other in their strands without bonding to each other to create longer strands. The process of gluten formation allows bread to have spongy interior texture with the smooth outside. So basically, the more mixing, the more gluten. Which brings us to another thing. Let's think about muffins and zucchini breads and things that are considered quick breads. They don't go through the same rising process, but they're still called breads, even though they are more cake-like structurally. Despite their title, we don't want them to have that same chewy texture and the density and the sponginess that a bread has. We want it to be a little bit more cake-like with its interior crumb. So, to do this, even though gluten will still develop if we are using wheat flours, we want to mix it less so that gluten doesn't continue to form the structures that create what goes inside of bread. So, for your next baking adventure, just keep in mind how gluten is formed, and remember, more mixing equals more gluten, which equals more structure and more stretchiness. Signing off, this was Raina.